In the previous two movies, we talked about media management issues regarding our clips, events, and libraries, and these are all things we need to build our projects. Now we'll be talking about how to manage our project data, which can help us organize our own edit, collaborate with others, as well as efficiently archive our program. In order to demo this, I've reopened my Project Reload Final Cut Pro 10 Essential Training Library, and I've closed my demo and my training libraries. So this is where you should be at this point, and I'll open up my 11.3 keyword collection and load my Collaborate project. So the first thing I want to review is duplicating our project, which we've already learned. Again, to do this, you can just right-click and choose Duplicate Project or press Command-D. This creates an exact copy of the project, and then you can go on to edit the copy, and then the original project will remain intact. This is generally what you should do at the end of every editing session so that you have version copies of your project every step of the way. I'm just going to rename this Collaborate Copy 1, and I'm going to come back to my original project here. Now, if I right-click, you'll also see that there's an option called Duplicate Project as Snapshot. Now, the important difference between a snapshot duplicate and a traditional duplicate is that in a snapshot, any compound clips and multicam clips remain independent and are thereby protected from any changes as you continue to edit. So before I duplicate this as a snapshot, let's take a look at something. This version of the sequence has all of my B-roll grouped together in a compound clip. In fact, here it is. This is the compound clip, and it lives independently in the Final Cut environment so that any changes I make to this compound clip are likewise made to the compound clip that exists in this project. Let me show you this. I'll go ahead and load this compound clip, and then I'm just going to do something very obvious to my sequence here. I'll select this first shot, and let's make it black and white. Okay, so we've made a change, and now I'm going to go back into my original project, and I'll come to my first shot, and you'll notice that it's black and white. You'll also notice that it's black and white in the copy that I made. Now, I'm going to go back to the original project, and this time I'm going to duplicate project as snapshot, or Shift-Command-D. Now we have a snapshot, and it puts a time and date stamp on it, and this is now protected from any further changes that I make in the compound clip that resides in this sequence. So let me show you this. I'll go back into my compound clip, and I'll make another change. We'll make this second shot black and white as well. Well, I'll go back into my original project, and you can see that indeed my second shot is black and white, as it is in the direct copy. But if I go to the snapshot, notice the shot's at full color. So that's the difference between a snapshot and a regular duplicate. Now, when we're doing this, we're usually doing it during the editing process for ourselves when we're versioning our projects. But sometimes when you copy or move your projects, it's to hand off to another editor. And because Final Cut libraries are self-contained entities, it's actually pretty easy to get exactly what you want in a given library and then just give that library to your collaborator on a hard drive. So let's do this. I'm going to create a new library, and I'm just going to call it Share. And I'll name my event Share as well. Now I'll go back into my 11.3 keyword collection, and let's hand off the original project. And this is very easy to do. I'm just going to drag and drop it at the event level, not at the library level, but at the event level at this new library. And what this is going to do is copy this project as well as all the clips contained within this project. You can also include your optimized and proxy media if you like. It also tells me that any media stored in external folders that I'm pointing to will continue to be linked to but not copied. So this is perhaps a very good reason to consolidate your media first, as we touched on in the previous movie. But I'm not linking to any media. Everything is self-contained within my library. So I'll say OK. And then I'm going to come up to my Share event. Notice that here's my project. And then here are all of the clips that went into creating that project. And notice that all keyword collections got copied over as well. If I reveal in Finder, I'll right-click and choose Reveal in Finder. You can see that here's the new Share library. And if I look inside, right-click, Show Package Contents, and I'll go in the Share event, Original Media. All of my clips are here. So all I would do is give this Share library to my collaborator. Now, I just want to mention something. We learned in the first movie in this chapter how to copy events from one library to another. So I just want to make clear the difference between copying a project over to a new library and copying an event over to a new library. When you copy a project, only the clips that are associated with this exact project are copied over. If you copy over an event, then you're bringing the entire bucket of media. So obviously copying a project is more limited in scope, but again, it's more specific. So it's what your collaborator needs. Do they need all the clips or just the ones you used? Now, just for the sake of demonstration, let me undo that, Command-Z. So now we have not copied over our project. Our share library is empty. And I'll go back to 11.3. And this time, we'll move the project over as opposed to copy. In the first movie of this chapter, we talked about how to move clips and how to move events. And when we did that, the material was removed from the original library and then deposited in the other. Well, let me show you what happens when you do this for projects. To move this over, I can select it and then come up to the File menu and choose Move Project to Library, or it's the same modifier key. I can Command drag this over. Notice that there's no green plus sign, so this is not a copy, this is a move. And when I release, it says Move Items to our Share library. Here, I'll say OK, and notice that the project did leave my original library, and it did go over to the Share library. However, the clips did not leave my original library. We can load the exact copy, and all of my clips are still in my Final Cut library. So when you move a project from one library to another, you do in fact move the project, but you only copy the clips. So as you can see, there are quite a few options for getting project data where you need it, whether it's because you just need to move or archive your projects, or whether it's because you're working with other people. Regardless, you should absolutely be able to do exactly what you need. Just be sure to be aware and be deliberate in your actions.